So, this is a update on the story of the Brill family in Georgia. If you remember back in the day, they were treating his seizures with smoking joints. Smoking joints that were basically obtained on the street from underground sources, clearly, because it was Georgia. So I'm not sure what kind of joints they were smoking with them, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't pure CBD. So we're going to go through the article and see what we find. So when Georgia authorities found out that smoking marijuana was ridding 15-year-old David Ray of seizures that had plagued him through his childhood, consequences were swift and severe. His mother and stepfather, Susan and Matthew Brill, were arrested and jailed for 6 days. David, no longer able to medicate with pot, was hospitalized for a week and suffering what his mother called, quote, the worst seizure of his life. He was then discharged to strangers and sent to the Division of Family and Children's Services group home after his parents were stripped of custody. And another example of how the war on drugs breaks up families, said Lauren Deal, Susan Brill's attorney. So there you have it, all you people that are freaking out about ICE breaking up families, which I am too, because I think that's complete fucking bullshit. But this is America. And if you think America is some great country, we've been breaking families up since we got here back in like 1492 or whatever the fuck. America has just breaking family up after family up. And this is just another example of how the drug war breaks up families. The drug war breaks up families every day. Probably every minute of the day. I just seen a story today about another situation where, they took the kids because dad got caught with some weed. It was like some pounds of weed, so let's take the kids right off the bat. How is that going to help the situation? How is arresting him for the weed helping anybody? It's just threw a big wrench in that life, and then the kid probably life is ruined too. So thanks, guy. Thanks drug war. Thank the drug war for making America just as much of a shitty place as it can possibly be. On Monday, some 9 weeks later, the Brills finally got their son back after a judge granted a protective order agreed upon by his parents and the DFCS. A victory for the Brill family, but in a larger battle over Georgia's war against weed, it's unlikely to register, according to one activist. Quote, the story went worldwide. The family collected more than $60,000 in donations on their GoFundMe page, said Tom McCain, executive director of Peachtree Normal, National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. It changed their lives. Whether it has any effect on changing Georgia laws, I doubt it. For as much as David's story resonated with the public, that, according to a recent poll commissioned by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, overwhelmingly favors expanding Georgia's medical marijuana program, the powers that be remain squarely opposed to further moves to loosen the law. In recent years, state lawmakers have made it legal for patients registered with the state to possess up to 20 ounces of cannabis oil derived from the marijuana plant to treat 16 specific illnesses, including seizures, but cultivation and manufacturing of the cannabis oil is prohibited, and federal law bans its transport across state lines. So, yeah, you guys can sign up for this program, but you can never get any medicine. Somehow, if you magically have it, we're not going to say anything about it. Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle and his Republican runoff opponent Brian Kemp oppose any changes to the law, as does the powerful Georgia Sheriff's Association, because cops are just dicks. They don't give a shit about sick kids. Clearly they don't. So they're here to serve and protect. What they should have done, instead of arrest the parents and take the kid away, they should have went to the state house and been like, you know what, we need to change the laws. They're not working. They're hurting people. But that's not what cops do. Cops are assholes. They're cowards, and they just want to fucking arrest little kids and their parents. They just want to arrest sick people, I guess. That's how stupid and fucked up this country is. Twiggs County Sheriff Darren Mitchum defended arresting the Brills and separating them from their son, saying, "Whatever the law is, it's my job to enforce it." And that's pretty lazy thinking, because really what it is you have the constitutional authority to disobey a law if you feel that the law is hurting citizens of the United States. So you're not doing your job. You're being a lazy, donut eater. The fact is that, as of today, marijuana is not legal in the state of Georgia to possess or smoke or use for recreational use, said Mitchum, echoing the rationale popular in law enforcement circles. And that's it. So that's just lazy. That's just being a lazy, worthless human being. To me. Protect and serve. Woo! David may finally get some relief for his seizures caused by a lesion on his brain, and his parents say he will be prescribed Epidiolex, a cannabis-based treatment approved just last week by the FDA. And if you just seen my video that I just made just before this about Epidiolex, and you do know that they smoked weed with him and that got rid of his seizures altogether, you might start to get the idea that this Epidiolex isn't really going to work 100%, but I guess it's better than the bullshit seizure medication that he was on that wasn't helping at all. So we'll see. I will definitely keep up on this story, keep up to date, and let you know what's going on. I still think they should take the $60,000 and head straight to Colorado without pass and go, without anything else. Just forget about Georgia. Forget it ever existed. Georgia is garbage. Should just change the name to garbage, because that's what they're acting like when they, arrest people for using medicine that works. So we have Roseanne Hodge, an Atlanta doctor who specializes in cannabis-related pain management. This drug is going to make a huge difference in his life. How does she know anything? If she's an Atlanta doctor, how is she specializing in cannabis-related pain management? I don't know how that happens, but whatever. All it took was a lifetime's worth of turmoil crammed into a harrowing few months. And if you don't know the story, let me just go ahead and do it. It all started on February 7th when Suzanne Brill said she decided her son had suffered through his last seizure. Though they didn't have a doctor's permission, Brill, desperate for relief, gave David some plant marijuana to smoke. The results, he said, was dramatic. He was able to sleep at night. He was able to talk properly. Susan Brill said, What I had was a normal 15-year-old boy for 71 days. David lived the life of a normal teenage boy, and there was no seizures, his mother said. On April 19th, she shared the good news with David's therapist. Later that day, deputies from Twiggs Sheriff Office, acting on a tip from the DFCS, showed up at the Brills' home with a warning to stop giving their son marijuana. She told them that this will have consequences. Deal, the Brill attorney said Monday, he will have seizures. And 14 hours later, that's exactly what happened. He nearly died from the seizures that resulted, Deal said, the worst seizures he'd ever had in his entire life. And Susan Brill couldn't be there with him. She was in jail charged with reckless conduct. There have been visits between mother and son since then, with no assurances when David would be allowed to return. Until Monday morning when David texted his mother, "I'm coming home." Susan Brill wasn't so sure. Quote, "Anxiety was building this morning because we didn't know what the judge was going to say." She said, "As soon as the judge ruled in her favor, I melted," Brill said. Criminal charges still loom for the Brills. Their attorney in that case, Catherine Bernhard, said she's hopeful Monday's ruling might lead prosecutors to drop the case. Quote, "Our position was that they didn't endanger their child, the state did," Bernhard said. And for that, I think everybody involved in that arrest and shit should go to jail and be charged with endangering this kid's life. Reckless endangerment and abuse of authority, and there's got to be there's got to be some kind of thing in the penal code for a police officer that follows an unlawful order that results in somebody's injury. Because this order that you arrest people for using medicine that works should be unconstitutional. It's very conflicting with the Constitution. So that was it, really. But there's this protective order, which is set for 1 year, and it could be completed in 6 months if the Brills remain in compliance. A DFCS caseworker will meet with the family twice every month, and David will be tested for drugs during each visit. So that's the actual definition of dystopian. Dystopian as fuck, because we're going to go ahead and let you have your kid back, but you're not going to use the medicine that you know works. You're going to use the medicine we tell you can use. And if you go around that, we take the kid back and everything goes back to normal. And yeah. So this is just this just sets the table. We'll see what happens, man. Essentially what the court doesn't want the Brills to try to self-medicate, Deal said. But that's something lawmakers in this state have pushed families into. And yep, that's what I said, man. That's why everybody involved should go to jail, and the governor and everybody. Georgia, you're a hellhole for making your citizens go through this shit. And I was pushing their GoFundMe, and I still, if it's still there, I haven't checked it in a minute, but I see why. I don't see any reason why they should take it down. I think they should keep the GoFundMe there, and I think they should jump to Colorado, man, as soon as they get out of this legal problem and bullshit that they're in. And if he has one seizure using Epidiolex, I want to know about it, because I want to make sure that everybody out there knows that you can't bastardize nature's gift, which is cannabis. You can't take that and then be like, you know what, CBD's pretty good. It works for seizures or whatever. Let's just take that, only that out of it, and then make medicine out of it. And then make billions of dollars off of sick kids. Let's do that. You know, something tells me that karma doesn't like that whole business plan, and it's garbage. Just like Georgia, you're garbage. Susanna Brill, and Matthew Ray, I'm glad you guys are reunited, and I hope everything works out for the best, and I will update this story if anything new happens. Peace out, everyone. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here, because we're just getting started, man. Everybody acts like the drug war is over and Trump already legalized marijuana or something, but no. We haven't even crawled out of the hole yet. This shit is just getting underway. All right? This is just the beginning. We only have 9 states that have legalized marijuana at this moment in time. All right. And that's out of 50. Okay? So, and we have a whole country that still treats marijuana like it's a dangerous thing, like dynamite, or I don't know, cyanide. Is cyanide even as restricted as marijuana? I don't know. I know dynamite really isn't. I was just trying to use an example, but that's what we got, and we'll update the story as soon as I find out anything. Have a good day.